In this webinar, we want to present the ONYX system, that's nanoterahertz research platform for bulk, thin films, and 2D materials. Current characterization techniques can be divided in two main groups. On the one hand, macroscale techniques, such as the 4-point proof method or Vandenpo, which allow a quick inspection but do not provide all the required information. On the other hand, we have nanoscale techniques, such as Raman spectroscopy, AFM, TEM, and like the previous ones, they allow to have a very high resolution, but measurements require a lot of time. ONYX covers the gap, being much faster than the nanoscale techniques and much more accurate than macroscale techniques. This fact makes ONYX suitable for research and for quality assessment in an industrial environment. And how ONYX can do it? Thanks to terahertz waves. Here we have the electromagnetic spectrum. Terahertz waves are located in the zone between microwaves and the infrared, which are widely known and used frequency bands. Due to its position in the spectrum, the terahertz frequency band presents two clear advantages. It penetrates more than the infrared radiation and at the same time provides higher resolution than microwaves. These two advantages can be exploited for multiple applications, such as material characterization and imaging techniques. The ONYX system working principle is based on terahertz time domain spectroscopy. First of all, we need to generate a terahertz signal, with which we illuminate the sample. We call it reference. You can see in the diagram in red color. Therefore, the reference impinges on the sample, and the electromagnetic waves interact with the media. Then, the response is received at the detector, thanks to the metal sample holder used that helps the signal to be reflected back. This information allows us to recover many characteristics present in the material. The use of complex algorithms allows us to calculate parameters such as seed resistivity and carriers mobility in thin films and novel 2D materials, or dielectric parameters and dimensions in bulky materials. Then, a wide variety of materials can be fully characterized by a single tool. The ONYX system is aluminum constructed, very robust and prepared for the industrial environment. It is formed by three differentiated hardware parts: a power supply unit, a 3D positioning system, a terahertz receiver module with a camera to facilitate inspection of samples. ONYX system presents several unique features that makes it suitable and convenient for the characterization of materials. First, measurements are carried out from a single site and in a contactless manner, so no damage is caused to the sample. Besides, no sample preparation is required. Just place your sample over the holder and start the measurement. Speed and resolution are also remarkable features of ONYX. We can reach speeds of 12 cm squared per minute and resolutions up to 50 microns. In fact, the equipment lets the user select the desired pixel size, so an extraordinarily fast inspection can be performed. In 9 seconds, ONYX can inspect a 10 by 10 mm sample, and what is more important, it gives meaningful information even at the lowest resolution. This allows the full surface inspection at different environments, from the research scale, millimeters square range, to wafer production and industrial material manufacturing, meters square range. Another interesting feature is the ability of the equipment to transpass protective materials that can be used for many applications. Two examples. First, if a 2D material is coated by a protective layer, ONYX will be able to isolate the electrical features of the 2D material from the coating. The second one is linked in the inline inspection. With ONYX, we can monitor how the profile is growing in an atomic layer deposition system if a terahertz window is available. This allows very fast optimization on the manufacturing processes. Finally, a powerful and user-friendly interface makes measuring and post-processing extremely simple and fast. In summary, no other equipment in the market is able to fulfill all these requirements, allowing measurements to be made without contact, at high speed and resolution, and fully characterizing the materials of interest. In Das Nano, we consider that validation and standardization are key aspects for a new tool breaking in the existing market. For this reason, Das Nano is a particularly active company in research activities, contributing with scientific publications and patents. Das Nano is taking part in the normalization TC113 committee and participating in European projects such as GRACE and NOTUS. The GRACE project under MPIR Euramet initiative is aimed at the development of electrical characterization methods for future graphene electronics, in cooperation with the National Metrology Institute all over Europe. The NOTUS project belongs to the Horizon 2020 SME instrument program. The purpose of this project is to find a solution to one of the main problems in the wind power industry by inspecting the quality of polymeric and composite materials used in the wind blades. Das Nano cooperates actively with companies and research centers to enhance the performance of this tool and meet the needs of advanced material researchers and the industry involved. ONYX can be used for the characterization of a wide range of materials in a number of applications and industries, such as photovoltaics, graphene and 2D materials, semiconductors, electronics, smart materials, and advanced coatings and composites. ONYX can be used to examine many types of graphene and 2D materials. In particular, in this first figure, we show a multi-layer graphene sample. Each layer of CVD graphene can be distinguished, 2 layers in the red-orange part, 1 layer in the light blue, and the abscess of CVD graphene in the dark blue. However, not only CVD graphene can be characterized. A PET sandwich of graphene can be inspected. Also graphene flakes. Here you can see 3 packs. The first on the left is PET and it is the control. The other 2 are packs with different concentrations of graphene flakes. As we can see, the contribution of the flakes can be easily detected along with their distribution within the pack. Similar experiments can be conducted with inks and in other forms of graphene, such as graphene oxide. Apart from graphene, there are many other materials that can be studied with ONYX, such as polymeric and composite materials, advanced materials for photovoltaic cells, and thin film semiconductors. For example, it is required to measure the homogeneity of the conductance of PDOT samples fabricated by spin coating. Moreover, with our tool, we can analyze GaN rods and silver nanowires among other sophisticated materials. Of particular relevance is the defectology information that ONYX can provide in silicon carbide fibers with a tungsten filament. You can see here 2 examples with manufacturing problems and 2 here manufactured perfectly. We will show now some results obtained with the ONYX device originated in several collaborations. Some of them have originated scientific publications in high-impact journals. Let's start with some results obtained with Oxford Instrument Samples, who provided a large thin sample, a wafer of 20 cm diameter, 8 inches. On the left graph, the seed conductance is displayed. As you can see, high variations on the conductance of the sample were detected, with a particular circular distribution. On the contrary, other wafer showed an homogeneous conductance along its surface. ONYX allows to perform this type of analysis, allowing our customer to improve their manufacturing processes and increase the quality of their production. Another study of graphene over quartz samples was conducted between several national metrology institutes in RIM in Italy, CM in Spain, and MPL in the UK, universities and manufacturing companies. The samples inspected show areas of inhomogeneous seed resistance. Moreover, a comparative study was carried out with graphene over quartz samples, measured with 2 different techniques, ERT, a variation of the band depot tomography technique, and terahertz TDS using the ONYX equipment. When comparing the seed conductance maps obtained with both methods, a good correlation is observed between them. These results confirm the extraordinary potential of terahertz TDS to characterize the electrical properties of materials. Finally, impressive photovoltaic cells have been recently published thanks to an optimum fabrication process confirmed by the information that ONYX provides.
We will now start a short demo of the ONYX tool. We will characterize a bare quartz substrate sample and a p-dot sample over quartz substrate. Our customers can choose the size and structure of their holder according to their application. For this demo, we will use a 20 by 20 cm² platform, and we will use some accessories to hold our samples in place. Here we have an overview of the user interface. Once we launch ONYX software, two different tabs are available: Substrate Characterization and Sample Measurement tab. Once we perform a substrate characterization or a sample measurement, a third tab will appear called Sample Results tab. We will see this later during the demo. First of all, we will characterize our substrate using the Substrate Characterization tab. This tab is divided into 7 different sections. 1. Take photo. ONYX system has a camera to improve the user experience and facilitate inspection. The user can select 2 photo sizes depending on the size of their samples: smaller than 2 inches or larger than 2 inches. 2. Select library. The user can create its own substrate library and also load pre-saved substrates by just clicking Load Library. 3. Select frequency. The frequency of the emitted signal can also be selected. 4. Select measurement area. Once the system has taken a photo of the sample, the user can select the area of interest to be characterized. 5. Start characterization. Just click on Start Characterization and ONYX will start the measurement. The sample flatness can also be checked using the Check Flatness button. 6. Select substrate area. Once the measurement has been performed, a refractive index map of the substrate will be represented. In order to save the substrate refractive index to use it later, we can select the desired area and its refractive index will appear on section 7. 7. Substrate refractive index. The user can easily rename the substrate for later use and save it in the desired library. In addition to this, the third tab, Sample Results, will also appear, so the user can analyze the substrate refractive index and the electric constant more in detail. As you can see, the software is very intuitive and easy to use. Once our substrate is fully characterized, we will proceed with the measurement of our sample of interest using the Sample Characterization tab. We have removed the substrate sample and put the p-dot over quartz sample on the holder. The measurement procedure is very similar to the substrate characterization. This tab is divided into 6 different sections. 1. Take photo. As we have done with the substrate, we will take a photo of the sample. 2. Select library. If we want to use a pre-characterized substrate, the user should load the desired library. 3. Select area. The user can draw the area to be inspected. We can select several areas at the same time, so the user can measure several areas of the same sample or even different samples at once. 4. Edit sequence. This section allows the user to choose the characterization parameters for each area added, such as size, step size from 1 mm resolution to 50 microns, the substrate used. As you can see, the pre-characterized substrate called Quartz Demo appears together with other frequently used substrates provided with the instrument. We can enable or disable the quad mode, which provides more accurate measurements, and also we can choose the frequently used in the analysis. Section 5, Select Model. Once we have chosen the inspection parameters, the user must select the applied model depending on the samples he or she wants to inspect. 3 options are available: conductive thin film model, semiconductor thin film model, and too-thick substrate model. Except for the first model, the user is recommended to complete a series of approximate or expected information from their samples to reduce the measurement processing time. For this demo, we will select the conductive thin film model, which is appropriate for the samples we want to inspect. We click the Start Measurement and wait for the results to appear. The log section gives approximate measurement and processing time information. Once the processing is completed, the Sample Results tab appears. This tab allows a complete and detailed analysis of the sample so that the user can choose what electrical parameters to show among a provided list: peak-to-peak amplitude of the first and second peak, spectrum value at a fixed frequency, homogeneity, absorbed power, flatness, conductance, resistance, DC conductance and DC resistance, loss tangent, thickness, mobility, carrier density, and scattering time. For example, we can select the conductance 2D map. On the top right corner, the statistical values of conductance are shown, such as average, standard deviation, maximum, minimum, and standard deviation over average in percentage. As with the substrate, the user can draw a polygon on the sample map, and the software will calculate the local conductance statistical values for this area. If the user wants to perform a detailed analysis of the terahertz signals involved, it is also possible by clicking Show Terahertz Signal and on the sample 2D map. Then the detected terahertz signal will be represented in the time and frequency domain. As we can see in these graphs, we can zoom in the desired area. A line profile can also be depicted by clicking on the Profile button. This functionality is useful if the user wants to identify trends and see the homogeneity of their samples, since at a glance you can see the variation of each parameter along a straight line. The function of drawing polygon is very useful when we have very different areas of a sample, as in the case of the mobility of the sample. This allows us to individually analyze well-differentiated areas of our samples. The scale is automatic by default, but the user can modify it. This facilitates the subsequent comparison of various graphs, since the system allows the user to generate and export them with the desired scale, avoiding further processing with other softwares. Each map can be saved at the desired scale using the Save Current parameter button. The Save Every Area button allows to save all the maps generated from the current inspection, as well as all the raw data, in case the user wants to do additional post-processing. Besides, the saved measurement can be loaded later for further analysis. ONYX software has been designed in great detail and care with the end user in mind. Its wide variety of included functions makes ONYX a very versatile, convenient, intuitive, and easy-to-use equipment.
There is a question here. Hold on.
Yeah, first question appears.
Okay. me see. What is the maximum size of the samples that can be characterized? Can you accommodate wafers more than 8 inches?
Thank you very much for your question. Yes, we can accommodate any size that will be needed for the inspection, but the current tabletop robot is able for 8 inches. But yes, of course, we can accommodate with a different tabletop robot any size you would need it.
And Professor Israel, if someone wants to send any samples, could we do any test measurement for the customers?
Sorry, Assis, could you repeat?
No, people can send samples if they wish to make any measurements, right? Yeah.
Yes, of course, we are available for this service as well.
Mhm. And Neil Dilly has asked a question, what is the frequency range available?
And the frequency range in the terahertz range is up to 5 terahertz. So from 0.1 terahertz up to 5 terahertz. This is where we have enough signal to noise ratio to characterize the samples.
Okay, here's a question from Mihir Pendarkar. For measuring mobility from a 3-5 semiconductor quantum well, how much user input is required to get a reasonable mobility?
This is a very tough question. It will depend on the actual configuration, depend on the thickness and other parameters that you want to explore. If you're usually doing the same experiment, then not a lot of information is required, so known information actually. But if you are modifying your thickness and your number of layers and these kind of things, then yes, we would need this kind of information, like thickness and the range of the dopants that you're using.
Okay, thank you. There's a question here. How does ONYX measurement result compare with traditional 4-probe technique? Is there a standard sample for comparison?
As you have seen in the presentation, we have compared a modified version of Van der Pol. Van der Pol only gives you a number for the full wafer. What we have done with in a collaboration with INRIM is to do a tomography Van der Pol. So you make a lot of Van der Pol measurements and extract them up. This is a contact method, but a very well-known method, as you know. And the results with the terahertz signal are very, very comparable. So they are in very good agreement.
Okay, thank you. Are there any special safety considerations when dealing with terahertz radiation, which users should be aware of?
No, the power that is emitted by the equipment is very, very low, and there is no risk for the healthy. No, no problem at all.
Okay, in continuation.
Fine, yeah.
Okay, thank you. In continuation, will the instrument interfere with any other terahertz-based instrumentation I have in my lab?
I mean, it's very difficult to answer this question because I don't know where do you have those terahertz equipment. But as I was saying before, the terahertz radiation is very localized and is radiated over a metallic platform. So most of the energy is getting back to the receiver. Of course, if you have very, very sensitive devices, we should check before to be sure that this spurious radiation that could occur with the when the waves will interact with your sample are not giving any problem to your other equipment or things like that, of course. Yes.
Okay, thank you. All right. I do not see any other question. Do you, Veronica, do you see if we have not answered any other questions? I think we have.
No, I think all the questions are already answered.
All right. Well, thank you very much for joining.